Hey you, and welcome back to Tap and Tarot. Today we're going to be doing a pick a card reading for the new moon in Cancer. It's happening on Monday, July 17th at around 2:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is happening around 24 degrees of Cancer, tropical, and about 1 degree sidereal. We're also going to be looking into how the North Node will be retrograding into Aries that same day at 3:59 p.m. And so the intention for this pick a card is how we're starting fresh with this Cancer energy. Because it's a new moon, we're always starting something fresh and manifesting something, setting our intentions. And for the true node retrograding into Aries, what we're focusing on as far as self-development. Lean towards our self-development and not come away from being the South Node, come away from focusing on relationships and everything outside of ourselves. So how we're starting fresh and how we are self-developing over this transit in North Node in Aries. Now that is the North Node in Aries. It will stay in Aries until January 11th, 2025. So we have a good year and a half. So go ahead and take a second, see what cards you are drawn to. All of the descriptions will be in the description box regarding the decks themselves as well as the crystals. Take a second, check out the timestamps in the description box as well. And let's tap in. Okay, deck one, if you have chosen this sort of clear quartz with black tourmaline inside, this is the Wild Unknown Tarot. We have already shuffled your cards, but we're going to go ahead and cut them. Okay, so this is the bottom of the deck. This is the top of the deck. Then we have the new moon card as well as the North Node card. Okay, let's tap into this energy. First, underneath it all, for the new moon in Cancer in Punarvasu Nakshatra on July 17th, we have the Daughter of Cups. This is the Page of Cups and traditional Rider-Waite Tarot. So that's the bottom of it all. This is definitely tapping into a sort of emotional energy and being a little bit more, having more maturity to do in regards to the emotional energy. There's so much underneath. You're doing a good job at sort of holding it together, but there's so much going on underneath. You're just like the duck in this card. You're cool, calm, and collected on the top, but underneath you're paddling like mad, okay? So there's definitely some sort of energy that needs to sort of come to the surface and be dealt with in actuality. Then on the top of it all, we have a Six of Wands. So there is transformative energy that will sort of come to fruition during this time in the new moon in Cancer, and it definitely will be noticeable to other people. You're going to have rewards come from this. People are going to realize that you are some sort of force to be reckoned with. You have done the work and you're finally sitting on top of your horse, having transformed and gone through very important stages, a sort of metamorphosis, as this butterfly indicates. Then we have, for the actual new moon card, we have Justice. This is card number 8 in this deck. And it indicates you clearing out your environment in some sort of way, integrating your shadow, but not so much on purpose. Simply, it's a byproduct of going through all of the changes you need to go through. You're balancing this energy, and it's not sort of like this push-pull situation so much as it is just a natural sort of symbiosis of what already exists, okay? This is Libra energy for this card, and as we take, we must give. As you know, we feel, we must also think. It's the two sides of the same coin sort of energy. Then it may be something to do with, for some of you, an actual legal matter or somebody in authority making a decision of some sort, okay? Then for the true node transiting Aries, we have Hermit. So how we're self-developing in this area and during this time all the way until January 11th of 2025, we're going inward so that we can focus on our actual spirituality. All of the things on the outside are not necessarily the focus at the time. We're looking inward, and not only is that exactly on the nose, the Aries energy in the North Node rather in the Aries sign, the Aries zodiac, saying focus on self, being Aries. It's actually, and North Node is very spiritual. So the Hermit, being a Virgo card, you're sort of gathering information and you're having to step out on this journey that is solo so that you can organize all of the gems that you're picking up on the way. So throughout this whole transit, we're focusing in and looking inward towards what actually is guiding us. What is our lantern on top of this tortoiseshell? It may be slow, it may be an arduous process, it may be sort of scary and lonesome and isolating, but it is necessary in order to come out on the other side. Because this is an earth sign card, we always know that it moves a little bit slower, but it has lasting and very sustainable results, okay? So going back to the overall question, how are we starting fresh? For everybody, we're starting fresh in Cancer, which represents home, how we feel, our relationships with our family members and, close inner circle, and how we feel secure. How we're feeling secure is being able to start afresh with clearing out this environment, with being able to discriminate with what we absolutely need versus what is sort of extra clutter that's clouding our judgment, and possibly that's making other people have an opinion about us, if that makes any sense. Whether that be luxury items or simply clutter, maybe the word hoarder has been thrown around in there somewhere. We're differentiating what we need to take during this time, during this new moon in Cancer, and what we don't. And also it's sort of this feeling of it came back around towards the same project that maybe we left out before. So not just in our home, our physical home, but in our emotional body as well. This has come back around. Sometimes if you think about how a duck sort of paddles underneath, it almost looks like a rotor of a boat. So this has come back around a couple of times. We've had to deal with it a couple of times, but finally at the end of it all, we will have officially changed and have other people recognize that change in us, okay? So we have the numbers 6, 8, and 9 here. What we're missing is 7. 7 in tarot is the spiritual card, is always connected to some sort of spiritual lesson. So we are in succinct here and we're step by step. However, this spiritual lesson is what's finally going to come down to, make a difference in the same cycle that has happened before. We have harmony being 6, and sort of this balance of energies being one with your environment and being one with the universe and the natural sort of cadence of things. Then we have 8, which is sort of this repetition and repetitive cycle, this infinity sort of doing the work, right? So there's something physical, and this is major arcana. Both of these are major arcana, in fact. So this is something that would happen and take place even if you were resistant to it in 3D life. This is something that needs to take place whether or not you participate, but it's better if you do, okay? You will have the reward on top after it is all said and done. If you deal with this emotional body, you mature a little bit, you get closer to the king, you can solidify yourself a bit, and you are willing, right? But you just don't really know how to do it to the satisfaction of the overall lesson. And that's what pages really are, in a sense. You're still working towards going on that journey and being successful at it. So it does indicate a bit of immaturity, but at the end of it all, maturation is absolutely guaranteed if you can do this spiritual work, if you can clear out your environment, if you can clear out the clutter from your mind. So what we're starting fresh with is our actual space and making decisions and being able to discriminate towards what we absolutely need for this spiritual journey. And what we're focusing on as far as self-development during the North Node in Aries is absolutely our spiritual journey, getting organized in general. I hope you enjoyed that reading. I hope this helps. And if you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. Let me know how it resonated. And I hope that you subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot more of these sorts of readings, as well as getting down into the zodiacal side of things, as well as some elemental readings. So I hope you stick around. Thank you so much for watching Deck 1. Welcome Deck 2. If you have chosen this deck, this is the Kemetic Tarot, and this is Orange Calcite. So we have shuffled you up already. Let's go ahead and cut these cards and see how we're starting fresh in Cancer for this new moon and what we're working on as far as personal development for the North Node transiting Aries. Okay, the bottom of the deck is Two of Swords. The top of the deck is Nebet Het, which in this deck is the High Priestess. So we have two twos already out the gate. We are working with two vibrations, two energies. For the new moon, we have 15 or Set in this deck, which is the Devil card in the traditional tarot. And we have a 9 of Swords. So what we're working on as far as personal development is 9 of Swords for the true node transiting Aries. Let's tap in. Starting with the bottom of the deck, what's underneath it all is the fact that you do need to make a choice or decision of some sort, okay? There is a lot of mental energy that is going to be asking you to make a decision so that you can move forward during this new moon in Cancer on the 17th. Although for everybody this has to do with home, moon also indicates sort of your emotional body and mental movement, your sort of what goes on when nobody is looking, okay? It's asking you to make that decision about who you are from the inside when you're not operating from your sun, when you're not operating from a soul level, but from your moon, okay? So at night, when everybody is quiet, what are you thinking about yourself? It's asking to make a choice about that. That's the bottom line of this reading at the moment. Then for on top of it all, it's saying that you don't need to necessarily do anything in order to get these answers about yourself. So for me right now, this is indicating meditative spirit. It's indicating a need to sort of sit still and sit with your thoughts and sit with your emotions so that you can really become aware of them. You already know what's going on and what you need to do on the inside, but maybe you've been moving around quite a bit, so it's a distraction in the sense of you know it has to happen, but if you stay busy, you don't have to actually deal with it. On the 17th, this new moon is going to have you deal with it. This is a major arcana, so it's going to happen. You'll be sat down if you don't sit down, if that makes any sense, okay? This is also another indicator of the moon card. This is the High Priestess. And I just want to take a second to read this because this deck and the mythology is quite new to me as well. And I'll always get something extra out of it. So the goddess Nebet Het, known in Greece as Nephthys, was sister of Aset and goddess of childbirth and funerary rites. Her proper title is Lady of the Temple Enclosure, occasionally mistranslated as Lady of the House, which is interesting because again, this is happening in Cancer. So either way, you need to sit in the house and make a decision about something. You're going to have to make a decision about some sort of house situation, whether it be your actual physical house or your mental body, your mind house, okay? She was often represented as the pylon or grand entrance to the temple. She is truly the high priestess of the gods. As a Pittsburgh funerary deity, Nebet Het helps protect the traveler from evils that will be encountered on the journey. This card is interchangeable with the High Priestess card in other decks. On this card, she stands inside the temple waving her right hand over a ceremonial bowl of water while preparing to bless the traveler. Again, this water is representative of the moon. I see a moon here. I was very drawn to that when that first got turned over. So it's definitely going to be some sort of like soma being like a spiritual nourishment, some sort of liquid, some sort of, movement in regards to your moon and that emotional body in this water theme. Okay, in her left hand she holds the lotus scepter. The temple is supported by two pillars, the names of Ogdoad, the 8 primordial deities inscribed on them. She wears a traditional headdress of an Egyptian home with a basket balanced on top. The basket represents Egyptian cornucopia overflowing with a bounty of crops: cabbages, melons, radishes, dates, figs, and onions. She is charged with protecting the sacred Bennu bird, known as the Egyptian phoenix, considered a sacred form of Amun-Ra, which extends its head from her crown. Around her neck, she wears the Jet amulet, a symbol of her healing power. Her protective falcon wings wrap around her back and arms. So again, this is certainly indicating, if you're able, at the top of this deck, after it's all said and done, if you're able to sit down, now you see this body of water behind the Two of Swords. If you're able to sit still and sort of make this decision and go inward in regard to how you're feeling and all of the things that you already have possession of, all of the knowledge you already have possession of, you'll be able to reap the harvest. You'll be able to absolutely understand and come out on the other side with all of the answers that you need. Now, in regards to the new moon itself on the 17th, this card being the Devil card, and again, I'll go ahead and read the mythology behind that. This is saying that you need to get free from some sort of stronghold. Okay, I'll call it that. So if there are any addictions, any addictive people, any addictive behaviors, you're absolutely going to be called to make a decision on that and move forward. If not, the self-development journey is going to be particularly strenuous. So I'll go ahead and read Set. Set has been associated with darkness and nighttime since the dawn of civilization. Now this is in line with moon energy, right? The moon comes out at night. So this is all of the things that are underneath that people don't necessarily see. Originally a protective deity, he eventually became the embodiment of the desert storm, the hostility of foreign powers, and the destructive power of chaos personified. He represents the cataclysmic forces that wipe the slate clean, clearing the way for forces of Mayat in order to evolve and rebuild ever greater structures and civilizations atop the ruins. He became the original murderer when he killed his brother in a fit of uncontrollable rage. He symbolizes pure passion and fury as its zenith. This card is interchangeable with the Devil card. On this card, Set stands on flat rocks exposed in a barren desert. His solar disk is an eclipse and celestial harbinger of death and destruction. He holds a scepter in his right hand, and his left hand a rope that binds a couple of commoners. One of the commoners is a despairing man on his knees, the other an ecstatic dancing woman. The couple are trapped at the extremes of their emotions. Although Set holds the rope that binds the two, it hangs loose, indicating the pair are victims of their own choosing. Okay, we just mentioned that. In the background stand in the pyramids symbols of stability, barely visible above the chaotic dust storm, being kicked up by the desert cyclone approaching the trio. Now again, apparently this character, this archetype, had emotions that caused him to make decisions in regards to a relative. This relative would obviously, you grow up in a home with your relative most of the time, right? So it's some sort of familial relationship, some sort of familial situation that you're definitely having to make a decision on. And that decision, once you sit in it and really sort of go over it and be honest with yourself with how you feel and what has already happened, what you already know, you'll be able to understand like what kind of decision you need to make. You are absolutely stuck between two extremes in regards to how you're feeling towards this thing. At the underneath it all, it's still a choice to be made. Are you going to be the guy who's absolutely distraught and on his knees, or are you going to be the ecstatic woman? Either way, you have to break free from this bondage of these polarizing emotions. Now, speaking of polarizing emotions, once the true node goes into Aries, it's asking you to develop yourself in regards to your mental health. Okay, so I feel like during this new moon, it will kick off, and it's on the same day, again on the 17th, 2 hours away from each other, not even. It's going to kick off this sort of theme of your mental capabilities, your mental state, your emotional body. Something here is causing nightmares. Something is causing you to overthink and sort of be in your head to the point where it's affecting how you're able to function during the day. Although most of this is at night, this looks to be like pretty much dusk, but again, you're blindfolded here. So again, there's sort of this theme of darkness, right? But you know exactly what you have to do. You know the decision that you need to make, and you know what's actually holding you, what's binding you, what is causing this sort of toxic relationship and behavior. This new moon is going to ask you to actually make a decision, stand firm on it, and let it go. Once you start the self-development process, as far as the true node going through Aries, how you focus in on yourself, the focus in and the self-development is going to be in the area of your mental health, okay? So this is sort of like a very heavy situation, but on the other side of it, you're going to be quite literally sitting pretty. You'll be able to access what's on top of her head, the cornucopia, and you'll be able to feel confident in the decisions that you make in regard to your spiritual body, your spiritual self, your spiritual knowledge. Thank you so much for watching this deck too, and I do wish you absolute all the best and guidance on this journey, because this seems to be quite a lot to tackle. But again, the true node is going to be transiting for quite some time, so you have about 1.5 years to do so. So you will absolutely see, if you put in the work, some results to your benefit and to the benefit of those around you as well. So if you enjoyed that, please let me know how it resonated. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave me a comment to let me know, any feedback that you wish. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you chose deck 3 in this beautiful Serpentine, we've already shuffled you up, but we will cut the cards and tap in. Okay, so bottom of the deck is the Hierophant. Top of the deck is 9 of Pentacles. 9 has been in absolutely everybody's reading, so I just want to quickly go ahead and point out that's certainly the theme. There is something coming to completion. It's almost there. If you can get through this season, if you can get through this period, you're certainly going to be starting a new cycle, starting it over again, and that absolutely goes in line with Punarvasu Nakshatra. Then for the new moon, we have 3 of Pentacles. And for Rahu transiting through Aries, we have 7 of Pentacles. Okay, let's tap into this energy. Okay. So the bottom of it all, you're going to have access to some sort of knowledge and some sort of learning opportunity that you never had before. This will definitely come in the form of elevating, I don't know, whether it's at work, being some sort of authority in regard to, your work life, or even just your responsibility, okay? There will be a change in regard to how you're seen, how you show up as far as your not only authority go, but how you enact that authority. And it will be connected to something that's established with a title. Yes? Okay. That's the bottom of it all. The top of it all, or the bottom line overall, is that you will be able to be self-sustained. You'll be able to have everything in your possession that you will ever need in order to elevate and be on the path of your divine purpose. You'll have the help of not only the flora and the fauna, but the environment around you will be absolutely singing as if you're in some sort of musical because you were able to access this ancient knowledge. I'm getting that it's old for some reason. I'm getting that it has been established, but you're tapping into it and you're able to say, now that I have this under my belt, that I've downloaded this information, I'm able to show up as myself, for myself, with myself, and I'm not feeling like I'm lacking absolutely anything. So what you're going to be feeling, or what you're going to be experiencing during this new moon in Cancer on the 17th, is self-sufficiency by way of understanding. Yes. Then the reading continues with more pentacles. So self-sufficiency will absolutely translate for you as resources. It will absolutely translate for you as something that's 3D intangible. These are earth cards, and it will be something that you'll be able to feel and touch and smell and be sentient with and understand that this is reality, right? Reality, we know, is what we make it. But as you're downloading this mystical, ancient information, you're going to be able to translate that into something that you can absolutely use and sustain your physical body with. Okay? What the new moon will bring, and what we're starting fresh with, is how you work with other people. Not only how they help you, but how you help them, vice versa, and what end you're putting efforts in at all. This is Mars in Capricorn. Capricorn is actually directly the sister sign of Cancer. So we're going to have this grab from across the street, use the inverse of some sort of help, use the inverse of, toxicity, and really go underneath and say, I can actually work with people. Once I understand them, I can actually build something together. I can seek out resources and network and understand what's going on. I can look at patterns to see what that even is. I've worked hard. This is a karmic reaping. I've put efforts towards something that has been old, that came back around as an opportunity, and I'm looking at it in a different light during this new moon. We're starting fresh with how we put our efforts in and what sort of reward we expect from those efforts. And it comes in the form of other people helping you to create something amazing and beautiful, and something that you absolutely need. It's something that's 3D, something that needs to be had for your sustainability, and for the people around you, their sustainability as well. Okay? So we've got change in regards to how you're able to take care of yourself, and as a result, you're going to be able to work with people. They'll be able to take care of you. This is what's happening in the new moon in Cancer for you. Then for the North Node transit through Aries, you're going to be developing yourself in regard to the seeds that you plant. If you put out there something in particular, it will grow into something in particular. However, don't continuously, maybe you're working on the fact that you continuously are looking at it to grow. You're hovering over it to grow. I put it in there. Is it coming back? Is it coming back? It's going to come back, but it's going to be a little bit slower. These are pentacles, right? It's not air. It's not fire. It takes a little bit longer. So the water and the earth takes a bit longer because it is more sustainable in general. It doesn't burn out. It doesn't blow off in the wind. It's sustainable, and you can build with it. It's not just what you're planting, but it's actually what grows, what buds, and what it turns into. You can rest assured that you will have rewards, but it's how you're going to be perceiving those rewards that's going to matter with how you feel ultimately about your efforts. Yes? the North Node transit through Aries will help you to self-develop in the area of spiritual fortitude. How you're able to say, I know what I'm doing is right. I'm going to plant it. I'm going to water it. I'm going to give it light. And I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to trust that it's going to grow. No matter what. No matter how it looks, I feel like underneath is growing roots. It has this little bitty, sprigs on top. But underneath, it is growing the most sustainable, deeply rooted roots and nourished soil that I could possibly ask for, because that is the intention that I put into it. We have not only 9 here, which is also a spiritual indicator, but some sort of culmination of a cycle coming to its end right before it changes. We have change and 5, the Hierophant. This is a major arcana, so this is something that's absolutely bigger than just sort of what we're putting into it. You might even be getting downloads in regards to how you can get to this happy, harmonious 9 of Pentacles stage. But also we have a 3, so you're going to be communicating what you need from people. They're going to be communicating what you need, what they need from you in regards to this new moon in Cancer. So in regards to your home and your mental and emotional body, your family, your friends, and your personal home within your own body, okay? You'll be communicating that information, and it'll be clear and it'll be understood. Then we have a spiritual lesson here in regards to how we're able to set an intention, plant it, do what it has to do, and walk away from it. Be detached from the outcome so that it can do its thing and we're not in the way. I do hope you enjoyed that reading, deck 3. And if you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Leave me a message below and let me know how it resonated. And I hope you do consider subscribing, because I would love to read for you in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.